My name is Matt O'Connor and I'm the founder of Fathers for Justice.
All right, so tell us a bit about Fathers for Justice.
I started Fathers for Justice over 20 years ago, set it after I lost contact with my two young boys, and then realised that I had no rights in law to see them. There was no presumption of parental equality, and then I sort of started a campaign to basically try and change the law to give fathers a legal right to see their children, but also on an equal basis, so mothers and fathers were treated equally in the eyes of the law, which I think a lot of people assume that is the case, but it isn't. And after starting it, obviously 20 years ago, we then realised it's just not a problem in the UK, it's not just a problem in the States, not just a problem in Australia. This is a global pandemic of fatherlessness that's affecting the Caribbean, affecting all around the world pretty much. And so coming here, part of my reason for coming here was to meet Kammie and to see what we could do about setting up the world's first conference on global fathers' rights.
So given that, like you just said, the issue happens all over the world. What are some of the trends that you've been seeing that have become more worrying to you?
Well, I think in terms of the trends are slightly different in different countries. But at the moment, there is still this false narrative that this is a man's world, and that men have all the rights, that men have all the benefits, when absolutely the opposite is often true. So say, for example, United Kingdom, the outcomes for men are dramatically worse than they are for women. So we have a global suicide pandemic, we have we have in terms of depression, mental health, poverty. The benefit system in the UK supports single mothers, but it doesn't support fathers. And so basically dads, pretty much around the world, a lot of dads have been reduced to the status of cash points and sperm banks, paying for children that you can't see. And to me, we need to start a debate. We need to start a debate about this, not just back in the UK, but I think in the Caribbean, because black men, black fathers are stereotypes. There's been deadbeats, fail, feckless, and where there may be truth in that in some instances, I don't like this stereotyping of fathers in this negatively framed way, and I think it's important that we start a debate. I think there should be a debate in Barbados. I call on the female Prime Minister should be leading the way with progressive policies that support shared parenting. And I think, unlike on the referendum, unlike on becoming a republic, there's no referendum. But I think there should be a referendum on equal rights for fathers, Asian fathers, in Barbados. And I would like to see that, and I'd like to see a Minister for Men to look at men's issues, men's health issues, the fathers' rights issues, to make sure that we are giving children in Barbados the best of both their parents, better outcomes for children, better outcomes for mothers, better outcomes for fathers. Like if you want to see more female leaders, more female prime ministers, more successful female businesswomen. I was just chatting to the manager here, Elizabeth. If you're going to be working full time, why can't we have fathers step in and provide more childcare, or the paternal family, the paternal grandparents, to step in? And I think it's important we take a progressive look at this rather than just trading on these old stereotypes. So that's what I'd like to see here. And I think, chatting to Kammie last night, we're going to hold the first global conference on fathers' rights in London in November. So we're planning that with some big speakers. This means with Bob Geldof, who did Live Aid. We're going to reach out to Kanye, who's obviously got his own problems at the moment. So we're going to try and get some big names along to that, but just to talk about the problem in different countries around the world.
In the conference, how do you think we can go about, or you guys can go about ensuring that there's a change in that particular perception and or that system?
Well, that's partly down to what we get in the media. It's partly political. We need political leaders to address these issues, and unfortunately, fathers' rights is very unsexy. The most unsexy. It's just not an issue that is being debated really globally. This is the age of women, age of feminism, age of the Me Too movement. So it's a very, very difficult time to be a father, difficult time to be a man, difficult time to be a boy. But what we've got to do is encourage our political leaders to look at what we're trying to achieve, which is the best possible outcomes for our children and our families. So if you want to be a successful businesswoman, then it's great to have the paternal father or his family providing childcare and supporting the child in that way. It's great that for boys we don't have this toxic legacy where boys grow up in a home without a father. That is setting it's going to be step and repeat for the next generation. So it leaves a toxic legacy. It leaves a toxic legacy on our daughters, whose first experience of being with a man is a sexual one rather than a loving one. So all these things we need to challenge the stereotypes and this idea that still children live with their mothers. Yeah, we're in the 21st century. Children have two parents. I think one of the issues we've got to challenge is the kind of mother superior thing where mothers go, it's my child, not our child, my child. That's wrong. It's not your child. It's the child of a man and a woman, both parents.
What about the